Over the last few years, there's been a story floating around the internet about a boy who had an imaginary friend named Mr. Widemouth. But is this a real story like Robert the Doll? Or just a big fat piece of fictional writing? I've got the answer to that scary mystery, plus answers on a couple other things that you guys are curious about. Like this picture that claims to show a fried rat found in a KFC fried chicken bucket, and this picture that wants us to believe this woman is really holding up those huge tires. I've got all that, plus my favorite fake of the week, some all-new fan art, and a whole lot more. So grab your friends, grab your family, and have some fun finding out who's best at sorting out fact from fiction. Hey guys, Bill here. Our first item today is not about a photo or a video. It's actually about a story. It's called Mr. Widemouth and was sent in to me by Greta Lynn 98. Greta Lynn wrote, "Is this a real story?" Greta, you know, I've come across this story a couple times before, and I've always considered it to be just maybe something cooked up by a talented young horror fiction writer. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, well, I don't really know that for sure. I mean, maybe this story actually did come from a real person writing about what they claim to be real events. Remember the Robert the Doll story we did a couple of years ago? Well, that's kind of the same thing. I mean, a lot of people think it's fiction, but it's actually a real story written by a real person on claimed real events. So let's get this one settled and check it out. To start my research, I looked up the original story to refresh my memory. It's about a boy in Maine who gets sick, and while he's sick, he meets this creature in his room called Mr. Widemouth. Now, Widemouth was not a very big creature, but he did have a big mouth, and that's how he got his name. Over the next couple of weeks, the boy and Widemouth, they get to know each other pretty well, and the boy slowly realizes that Widemouth doesn't always have the best of intentions. He's always trying to introduce the boy to dangerous activities and games. In one case, he takes the boy to a second-story window and tries to talk him into playing this game where the boy would jump out the second-story window. In another one, he introduced him to a game that's played with very sharp knives. And another one where he walks down this dark path into the woods near his house. Luckily, the boy moves out of state and gets away from Mr. Widemouth. But many years later, he goes back to visit the home, and he decides to take a walk down that path that Widemouth wanted him to walk down. And what he discovers at the end of the path is a small cemetery, and the gravestones have names of young children on them. All right, so here's the question you have to answer, okay? Who wrote this story? Was it the boy who experienced these things firsthand? Was it somebody else who the boy told the story to? Or was this whole thing just cooked up by some fiction writer? If you think this story was written by the kid who says he actually experienced an encounter with Mr. Widemouth, then go with real. On the other hand, if you think this was just cooked up by a writer with a big imagination, then go with fake. And of course, if you don't think we have a solid answer, then you just go with unknown. All right, so shout out your answer as loud as you can so everybody knows where you stand on this one. And while you do that, I'm going to get out this, and we're going to find out what the old official answer really is. I think it's kind of like one of those Robert the Doll stories. Remember that one? That was, somebody wrote that claim, these things really happen. I actually went to Key West to investigate it. I went to the house where it supposedly happened. So, it had all these real elements to it. I'm going to leave a link for that video down in the description box in case you want to check it out, in case you're a Robert the Doll fan. All right, so now on this one, the official answer is, are you ready for this? You think there's a real Mr. Widemouth out there somewhere? Well, if you do, you could be right. But then again, you could be wrong. The official answer is fake. I jumped over to creepypasta.com to check, and sure enough, there's the whole story, and it's a complete fiction created by somebody that goes by the name of Perfect Circle 35. A little further digging revealed the man behind Perfect Circle is David Petro. Mr. Petro has a Twitter account, but strangely, there are no tweets on his Twitter, and well, it kind of makes me bitter. So tell you what, if any of you super sleuths out there know how to find the real David Petro, let me know. All right, well, there you have it. But before we move on to our next item today, I just want to cover one last base, and that is to ask you guys if any of you have had an encounter with Mr. Widemouth yourself. Because if you have, that changes the whole story here, all right? So if you've had an encounter with Mr. Widemouth, please tell us about it down in the comments section. Thank you. Hey, remember last week when I showed you guys this picture? The picture claims to show a place in Russia that is a real barbershop for kids and has a Freddy Fazbear theme to it. Now, I don't speak Russian, so I asked you guys for help, and well, thanks to viewers like Amira Amir and Skillzor Skilson, we now know this picture is nothing more than a big fat fake. Thank you guys. Next up is this rather distasteful looking picture. The picture claims to show a dead cooked rat found in a bucket of KFC fried chicken. It was sent in by Riley Herrera, who just wrote, "Is this a real rat that got fried at KFC? Or just a BFF?" Riley, I've found a lot of weird stuff in my food over the years, but nothing quite like this. Taking a closer look, we see what looks like a rat covered in batter that has been deep fried. It looks like it's lying on a napkin of some kind, and the table it's on looks like something you might see in a fast food place like KFC. So, Can you imagine finding something like that when you're chowing down on a bucket of chicken? Or even worse, can you imagine you're talking to somebody and you don't even look and you just pick it up and then start chewing on it? Okay guys, take another good look and make up your mind. Real, fake, or unknown. And make sure you yell it out so everybody knows where you stand. All right, let's get out the power of the old red envelope and find out what the penultimate truth is here. Deep fried rat or big fat fake? Can you say that like 6 times in a row? Big fat fake? No, I can't even say it once. Oh my God, forget about it. Deep fried rat. Big fat fake. Deep fried rat, 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 big fat fake. See? I can do it. All right, and the answer is deep fried, big, fat, fake. According to numerous news reports, what we are looking at here is nothing more than a good old case of pareidolia. You remember that one, right? That's where you look at something and your mind sees something that isn't really there, kind of like this. Well, what we have here is a piece of fried chicken that just happens to be in the shape of a kind of rat. And so when people look at it, they think it's actually a rat, but it's not. It's chicken. Hey, before we go on to our next item, check out this video. Is this lizard really looking at photos? It was sent in by Connor Lohman. I told Connor I don't have enough info to prove this real or fake, but I never heard back from him. So guys, if you have any solid information on this, let me know in the comments. Thank you. Okay, I know people have been looking for new ways to get exercise during the pandemic, but this looks a little extreme. The picture was sent in by Belen Enriquez, who just wrote, "I was wondering if this girl is really that strong, or this is just another case of a BFF, as in big fat fake." Belen, I did some quick research on this one, and I found out that truck tires are kind of in the neighborhood of 110 pounds or 50 kilos, and that's a lot. But these look a lot more like tractor tires, and those weigh anywhere from 400 to 600 pounds or 181 to 272 kilos. So let's multiply that 3 since we have 3 tires, and that would mean this girl is actually holding up at the low end 1,200 pounds or 544 kilos. All right, guys, time to let everybody know what you think. You think that picture is real, or do you think it's a big fat fake, or maybe even a really big fat fake? I'm gonna get out this and we're gonna find out what we got on our hands here. See who's got it right and who has got it wrong. But I mean, can you imagine? I mean, if it's real, that means that girl's probably got something like, yeah, there's a 1,200 pounds on her back. I mean, wouldn't that just like break her back? I don't know, people do crazy things. Could go either way here. Let's see what they say. All right, and guess what? If you said real, you are right. Believe it or not, this picture really comes from a video posted to Facebook by this person. Now, I could see some people calling the video a fake, but if you look at it carefully, those are definitely real tires, and there isn't anything I can see holding them up. Now, if this isn't enough proof for you, then check out these pictures. Apparently, working out with tractor tires is kind of a popular movement in the exercise world. Me, if I get into that, I'm going to start with bicycle tires and work my way up from there. All right, it is time. We're going to be going to my favorite fake of the week in just a second, but before we do that, let's check out some all-new, fantabulous fan. First up today is this colorful piece from Nathan Sky. In this picture, we see Bill with a powerful sword that lets him know what is real or fake. Nathan even produced a making of video to go with the picture. Wow, pretty cool, Nathan. Thank you. Next, we have yet another amazing piece from Henry the Artist. Muscle Man Bill is telling the viewers, "You're driving me crazy!" Now, how about this amazing picture from Jan Terry called Hype Beast Bill? I've got my Gucci hat on and some Union Jordan 1 shoes, but I'm not really sure what that fish is. But anyway, thank you, Jan. Love it. Here's a big monster picture from Jonathan with Siren Head, Cartoon Cat, and is that a Megalodon flying? I think it is. Nice work, Jonathan. We also have this cool piece from Trav, this crazy cool picture from Roman Massetti and sent in by his mom, and a horror-themed piece from Mari Bro. Nice. Love it, guys. And hey, don't forget, we have a new show every Friday, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as the notifications bell so you get a shot at being first official comment and win the pin. And now, for my favorite fake of the week. It's called Anti-Gravity Tech Testing in the 70s and was sent in by Francis Gameplays. I hear the reason we never heard about these tests again is because the whole program just floated away. So fake, it's funny! Hey, don't go away just yet. There are a whole lot more real or fakes you can look at. Just go ahead and click on one.